Hello world, this is LockpickingDev. Today I have a review of the Covert Instruments McNally Reaper pick set. And I was really looking forward to this one because it's the first full lockpick set that I saw where I was like, oh, hell, everything in that is something I do not have. And I'll start off with a pro for me specifically is they're all hooks, which I absolutely love. I love seeing a pick set full of hooks because I have plenty of rakes. I don't need any more rakes. Thank you for all the rakes. Don't need any more rakes. So I am in love that it's all hooks. I'll dive right into it. The picks themselves are 301 high yield stainless, which is just fantastic. Great steel. The finish is good. There's no sharp edges. It feels good all along the handle. The handle is unique and it's got this different trapezoid type shape there, which makes it really unique and is visually appealing quite well. The handle also has the thickness of the pick on the side, engraved on the side right here, along with the logo, and the thickness 20 thousandths is perfect. I think the 20 thousandths is probably become what's been about standard thickness in lockpicks, unless you're in the United States, because we have a little bit more straight up and down wide open keyways, and so 25 thousandths can fit in there pretty well, but 20 thousandths has become pretty good standard. That way it can fit into everything. Then also I just like being able to immediately see the thickness on the side of the pick there. So that's general there. One thing to note is that it does throw me off a little bit. Well, not a little bit. It does throw me off is the picks are all different lengths. So you can see I have them all kind of lined up. If I get the logos lined up right there, along right there, they all go from short to long. And that can be a little bit difficult getting used to when you're picking because they are different lengths. So I've been particularly picking with the McTickler quite a bit, which is this profile right here, because this has been a really popular profile and I wanted to play with this as much as possible so I had good experience with it. And it was, I do enjoy it. I'll go into more of that in a little bit and how it performs and why I enjoy it. But it was hard getting used to the shortness of it. So there's that. The picks themselves, they do have, as well as the unique handle here, they have the unique shafts on them. So they do have the divot there, which some people like holding their pick like that. I'm not one of those people. Actually, usually when I'm picking, my finger is being pushed or used as a guide. So my finger is usually like this. So my finger does not go underneath here like that. I'm usually doing, stay focused please, doing this right here, posting off the side of the lock and moving my pick in and out. So I guess some people may do it like this, I don't know, but I don't use really the hole too much, so I haven't found the hole too useful or the notch too useful myself. So there's that with the notch there. With that notch, you see that the whole shaft is shaped differently as well. So it goes goes up and down, so it's quite a bit thicker than normal shafts. So on the right is the from the McNally pick set, and the left is the Echelon one. You can see the shafts thicker throughout, and if I even stack them, let's see if I can. The bottom pick there, the McNally pick, is just a little bit thicker throughout the entire pick, which isn't an entirely bad thing. So if I compare the taper to a Jimmy Long's, it's very similar, not the same. And what I'm saying here is Jimmy Long's perform really well. They are great picks. They open most locks. The occasion problem that comes with this thicker shaft up here and throughout, throughout's not too big of a deal. They're both slightly thicker throughout's not too big of a deal, but the thicker shaft up here towards the top on both of those can occasionally overlift pin 1 and 2 when you get deeper back in the keyway. That's the only downfall of it. However, especially in the United States where the keyways are very wide open and straight up and down, you won't encounter that too often. So yes, the shaft can make a difference in what is happening. It's not too big of a deal. If you're not in the United States, if you're in Europe with those curvy keyways, yes, it's going to be a big deal. All right, let's talk about the pick profiles. So again, I absolutely love that this set is completely full of hooks. Yes, sold. Thank you very much for all the freaking hooks. Thank you. I enjoy that quite a bit. On each hook now, this is the only one I'm a little particular about. It just has a little divot in here, similar to Tickler right here. It's just a little slot. Otherwise, it's fairly straight for me. I'm not a fan of this hook in particular, this short shallow hook. I've only recently got particular about them after kind of doing a little research with them and talking with Christina Palmer. I particularly like this one from the Echelon pick set, or I'm a fan of a spoon style short, very, very short, narrow hook. But either of those two, that's what I'm a fan of. This one, just a little too straight for me on the end there. Otherwise, these rest of these, I'm going to use the hell out of. The McTickler here, I will cut and show more of this. This is very nice for a very shallow hook that the way it's shaped is right here. It kind of works with the way locks are pinned and kind of increases your chance to get opens. But I'll go more into that in just a second. We have the typical short hook here, and then we have a short hook with a little divot, and then a medium hook here. I've only recently become a little bit of a fan of the flat hook. I'm more of a fan of the short hook. That's no knock against this. I still enjoy this pick quite a bit. I enjoyed this one more because I really like the divot, the picks with the divots in them, because the shaft still goes straight just like the normal picks do. They add a little divot just before the hook. And Christina Palmer's strength tests have showed just adding that little divot just before the hook does not affect the strength of the tip of the pick at all. So you get a little bit more reach out of it and you don't lose any strength. So I particularly love this profile right here. That's my favorite. And then we have this another medium deeper hook here on the end. So again, all hooks, I absolutely love them. My only gripe is this one over here because it's just a little too straight for me. Otherwise, I'm going to use the hell out of these. Alright, this is our McTickler profile, and I'm going to demonstrate why I think this is a good profile, and particularly why I think the spacing from here to here is measured out the way it is. Now why I think that is, if we take a standard size pin, this is a Schlage lock, and we take our profile here, you can see it kind of goes over 2-3 pins perfectly and kind of goes underneath the pin in the middle there. So when I'm going in and I'm lifting these pins right here, you can see how I lift both of those pins, but I'm not hitting the one in the middle. And that kind of makes sense. The reason being because often in keys, the focus here, there you go. Often in keys there's a up and down. There is a high and a low and high and a low, and they may not always be that aggressive. So the McTickler profile, like right here, you may set that middle pin, that one right here, while you're trying to set that last pin. You can see how you can hit both of those. So I'm thinking that increases the chances of getting your lock picked quicker. And I'm not sure how to see. There we go. So again, a different side view cutaway right here. You can see how it hits pin 1 and 3, but not really pin 2. And if we show it on a cutaway of an American lock, it still kind of spans about 4 pins. And I'm not sure, let's see if we can demonstrate. I'm not sure how well it will miss stuff because it's a different size, but my thought is still, there we go. So if I rock it a little bit, you can see it still kind of misses the pins in the middle while hitting the back pin and kind of hitting pin 2 and a little bit of 3 there, but it still hits some pins. So I think the reason why this profile is measured out this way, again, is because it can reach like that and kind of mimic the bidding of a key a little bit faster while you're picking the lock. Alright, let's demo our McTickler here. So it's this profile right here. So at our turn, oh, there we go, stick it in, a little jiggle, and right open. Another demo of the McTickler using a 40,000 spot in the Keyway turning tool. The beauty of the McTickler is that little bit of the jiggle that I go do. You don't move your pick up and down like you want your shank to hick stuff, but because of the max adjacent cuts and typical pinning, doing a little wiggle back and forth is kind of like rocking the lock open like we just did. Really quick, really easy. One last demo with the McTickler for funsies. Got master lock number 3. Let's see if zipping will work this time. Oh, yep, there we go. So you can see the McTickler also, you can see a lot of people using it as a zip. Works very effective in that respect as well. Now let's talk about the top of the Keyway turning tools, and I'll just preface, I love both the turning tools, the bottom and the top of the Keyway. The features I'd like to point out is the little notch right here on the short end. It's a little recessed right there, and then the lip, the little part below right there. So let me get a pick to point out, make it a little bit more obvious. So this lip right here is very specifically measured, and so is this little notch. The rest of it has 2 holes on the 40 thousandths, 1 hole on the 32, 3 holes on the 50 to help distinguish between them all. They all have teeth on the inner side, and the long side of these have teeth on the top and bottom. Again, long side, you can see that there are teeth right there and on the top, so teeth on both sides of it. And on the short side, there are teeth on the bottom and top of the 50 thousandths, but the rest of them, the teeth are only on the bottom side there. So the 50 thousandths is the only one that has the teeth on the top side of it, and I'll show you why. If we look at the 50 thousandths from a different angle here, see if I can actually get this to focus. There we go. So we look at it from this angle right here. So here is the, there we go, focus please. That is the entire face that is making fitting in the Keyway right there. And you can see it's perfectly kind of a rectangle right now. If we take off the teeth at the top, we kind of cut a little bit off the top right there. You can see how it can get a little bit more of a square shape. And when you start sticking that into a Keyway, it can start spinning. So you need it to be a little bit more rectangular. I think that's why those teeth are placed there, in my opinion. I don't know why teeth would be placed there otherwise, because it just kind of hangs down on the Keyway. I think it's just to add more material so it doesn't spin in the Keyway. Alright, let's talk about the 2 features they pointed out that were measured out. The space right here and the lip up there. First, we'll talk about the lip, and we'll compare it to the other CI turning tool, their normal bar turning tool right there. You can see the lip gives a little bit more space on the faceplate of the, or on the face of the core to stabilize itself, where there's not much material over there. So that lip right there helps stabilize it more, where there's a little bit less of a lip here. And that lip is specifically measured out. So if we take our turning tool and we stick it in lock right there at the top, the Keyway right there, you can see that that lip kind of goes perfectly with the edge of the faceplate right there. And so we don't have to worry about when it's in the lock. Get it all the way in there. There we go. Sorry, at a weird angle there. We don't have to worry about when we're picking the lock, that lip grinding on this faceplate here. It moves very nicely and freely still. So if I go in, try to demonstrate how freely moving right there. There we go. Hit a spool. You can see it just moved right over. That lip is not holding us back at all. So really nice. You get the extra stabilization there without losing any movement at all, which is super nice. Then also with these, you have the little hole right there. Let's see, right here, which lines up with the bolt on the lock as well. So when you're turning it, you can see that stick in there. You can turn it. When I turn it, that little notch goes right over the bolt, so you can keep your turning tool going perpendicular with the lock, which is kind of important. When it's at a weird angle, it falls out a little bit easier. So this is very important. When I put a normal flat bar turning tool in it, there at the top, you can see I need to get it, if I have it flush with the core, when I have it hanging out, when it's flush with the faceplate of the core, of the plug there, it comes out at an angle. So it's really nice to have these. Alright, we're on to our bottom of the Keyway turning tools. Same as the top of the Keyway, same type of holes in each one. 1 hole for the 32 thousandths, 2 holes for the 40, 3 holes for the 50 to help distinguish them. Each of them, they have a bottom of the Keyway side and a top of the Keyway side. Since we've talked just about top of the Keyway, we'll go ahead and talk about that side first. Each side, as you notice, on the 32 thousandths and the 40 thousandths, it has a little bit cut out right here towards the end for top of the Keyway. The reason why that is because top of the Keyway needs to be smaller. That way when you're picking, it fits perfectly over the pins. So there we go, like that. If it was wider, down that way, you can see how it would stick over the pins more and obstruct the keyway more. So top of the keyway is typically just, it doesn't quite have as much height there. So that's why on the 40,000s and the 32,000s, they have that little bit cut at the top of the keyway. Just like the top of the keyway one, the 50,000s that has the serrated on both ends of it, the 50,000s bottom of the keyway is the only one that has serrated on both sides of its top of the keyway side as well. And I'm going to assume that's for the same reason, because if we take those serrations off, it makes this a little bit more square. And when you have a square turning tool, and a big keyway often turns and wobbles around a lot more, or just becomes a clockwise turning tool that just does not stay put. So I'm assuming that is to take up just a little bit more space for stability there. The bottom of the keyway side of this is also unique. So you can see right here how it has that wave shape to it, and it's very specific for a reason. You can see it goes straight, dips down, and then goes back up straight. So it could have been a straight bar like that, but it dips down and then comes back up. And the reason why that is when you have it in the keyway, I'll show you how it works. We have it in, that bumps up, it dips right there. You push it into the bottom of the keyway. You stop once that goes right there. So when it starts curving down is when you stop putting it in the keyway. And what that does is when you're picking, it actually allows more movement of your pick, so you're able to lift stuff higher. You get a better angle right there because of that dip down. You can see how that curve allows a better angle, so you can lift higher on your pins. So anything that's in the back, so particular anything that's in the back, when you have to lift it high, you get more of an angle with it when you have this turning tool in. So it's really cool in that respect. The way the turning tool works is you stick it in the bottom of the keyway and stop when you start to see when it starts to go to that bend. So right there, and then we stop. And what this does, and I'm not going to turning pressure on, we'll stick our turning tool in. What this does is when we're picking, it allows us to get more angle like this. So you can see how my pick, let me get it nicely placed in there again. When my pick is going down, lifting high in the back right there, we get more of an angle. So you can see how my pick kind of goes down into that dip. And even ignoring the slot doesn't really help in this sense unless you're like further back, then maybe a little bit. But you can see how the shank goes into that dip and allows us to get a deeper angle when we're picking. So that is really cool. Very, very, very helpful. I've seen some people say that they got locks that they haven't got yet just because of that dip alone. So really cool in that sense. So my final thoughts on the turning tools are, I love them. They're fantastic. All the features add benefit to picking a lock, from the lip right here adding more stability on the top of the keyways, to the little notch right here to avoid the retaining plug screws right here on the edge of the padlocks, on the ends of the padlocks, to the little dip in the bottom of the keyways to add more angle to your pick when you're picking a lock. I absolutely love them. I have one gripe, and it would be really cool to see a revision of this, and that's that they're all too short. Here is a normal, regular covert instruments turning tool, and you can see the length difference between that and the top of the keyway turning tools from the Reaper set. And the reason why this makes a difference is whenever I teach someone to pick a lock, I'm always tell them that you want to make sure you're holding it and have a tool in respect that you don't have to bend your finger. You want a long enough tool like these covered instruments ones right here to where your finger's completely outstretched and relaxed. You don't want your finger bending, because anytime you're doing that, you're adding more muscle to picking that lock. And anytime you're adding more muscle while picking a lock, more muscles are engaged. It makes it more difficult. So you want to be holding it, and you want a tool in respect that your finger's outstretched and relaxed with the constant pressure on it, not a pressure that's using muscle. And as we add the Reaper one in here, it's still really nice. I can get kind of outstretched, but it's just a little too short. It'd be nice to see these just literally 1 centimeter longer. And that's the same with the bottom of the keyway. When I add the bottom of the keyway at the bottom right here, when you're holding the bottom of the keyways too, you want your finger outstretched. You can see how it doesn't quite allow that. You have to bend your finger and do it like that. Again, adding muscle to it, and that makes picking a little bit harder. So that is the one gripe I would love, and I would buy the turning tools. I'd probably buy multiple sets, so I have enough to last me if I saw them become a little bit longer in the same length as their normal turning tools. Either way, I will probably hold off for a little bit and probably get a whole nother set of these, because I would like to have a set, 2 or 3 in each of my kits, because the value that they bring to picking a lock. Final thoughts. This is a good medium security pick set. Nicely medium security, because anytime I see a pick that has a shaft that gets thicker towards the handle like that, it's going to impact overlifting the front pins on occasion. Not all the time, but it can definitely make a difference and increase the chances of overlifting pins 1, 2, and maybe 3, depending on how many pins on the lock, how far back you're going. But not that big of a difference. You can absolutely pick high security locks. Georgia Jim has gone through the black belt picking locks with this pick set. It is absolutely possible. The chances are, however, though, because of the shaft, you could overlift pin 1 and 2 more often. So that's why I call it a medium security pick set. However, the turning tools are absolutely amazing. I hope to get a few more sets of those. I highly recommend picking up the turning tools, even if you're not interested in the picks. The picks themselves, if you're interested in the Reaper pick set, I say go for it. It has a really cool style to it. It also has just a ton of hooks. For me personally, anytime a pick set is full of hooks and not anything else fluffy that I don't want and don't need as an experienced picker at this point, I'm going to enjoy it quite a bit. So I am happy that I spent the money on this. This I bought out of my own pocket. This is, this wasn't given to me in any shape or form. This is a pick set I'm glad I spent money on, because I got tons of hooks and I got a great set of turning tools and a nice case with it. So there it is, the McNally Reaper pick set. Great medium security pick set, cool style to it. A lot of cool new features that we haven't really seen in tools yet that actually do make a difference in picking a lock. It increases the value of these turning tools. This is really nice. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the review. I hope this helped you out, and thanks for watching.